All right, welcome in, everybody. It is Monday. Time for total bases. The trade deadline has passed. The teams have settled in. We've seen their new guys start to play over the weekend, and now we're here to just forge ahead. The dog days, as they call it. It's August 4th, and got about 2 months to go the rest of the regular season. So I'm here with Bryan, Leonard, and Tokyo Brandon, and we are going to start. I didn't even know this was a thing until earlier today. Apparently, we have a super chat, which I've now somehow managed to lose. And the super chat comment, how I lost it, that's just Monday morning right there, Bryan Leonard. I've lost the comment somehow, even though it was starred. There it is. Where are the comments? Tokyo Brandon, where did you find it?
Click start. Yeah. It's right there.
Yeah. Anyway, TV's on it. We want to know about the Orioles. And the Orioles are going to take on the Phillies, who not really late. Felt like it was late for me because I got some sun yesterday, so I was very tired. But last night closed out a 2-0 win over the Tigers to take 2 of 3 from Detroit this weekend. Now they take on the Orioles, Bryan Leonard. Let's hit this one for DALG, D-A-L-G, in the comments. Phillies, Orioles. Phillies a pretty big favorite. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, we appreciate the request and obviously the money. Appreciate it. Thank you. Baltimore, Philadelphia. Povich coming back. A couple of lefties, Povich and Luzardo. Jesus, or Jesus if you're Tokyo Brandon. 193 is looking, something like that. Maybe 195 for Philadelphia. Total of 8.5 to the over of 25. 8.5 to the over 25. Povich, 2-5 on the season, 5.15 ERA, 6.33 expected, 1.50 whip. It's been a while since he's pitched. Let's take a look at the game logs. He has not gone since June 15th. He faced the Angels and actually pitched pretty well, but they sent him down to the minors, and he's back, and he's a guy that we were excited about going into 2024. He's not a guy that's going to blow you away with his stuff, but he is a guy that's supposed to had pretty good control, and was going to be at least one of the future starters for the Orioles. Hasn't worked out that way. In 2 seasons, 5.18 ERA, 1.46 whip. You take a look at his StatCast page, it's basically all blue. Terrible numbers when it comes to expected ERA, first percentile, expected batting average 5th, average exit velocity 3rd, chase rate 8th, barrel rate 2nd, hard hit rate 1st. So if this is the same Cade Povich coming back here for Baltimore, I don't want a part of him. But he did get a lot of hype before he started up here in the pros. He looked pretty good in the minors. He does throw 5 pitches, mostly his 4-seamer at 37%, but it's about 1 mile an hour less than the average left-hander. Also, Jesus Luzardo, a guy who's really struggled a little bit at times this year. Other times he's been great. He's got 9 wins on the season, but he had a 4.31 ERA, 1.37 whip. Expected ERA much better. Well, I guess not much better, but 3.63, something more you would expect out of this Philadelphia starting staff. No extension. He's only 6 foot, 7th percentile in the extension, but he's got a lot of red on his StatCast chart. He's got 5 pitches. He does throw the 4-seamer more often, but it's a pretty good 4-seamer, 96.4, which is 3.3% or 3.3 miles an hour better than a normal left-handed pitcher. The line here looks to be a little high, if you ask me. Baltimore's hitting very well lately. Over the last 14 days, Baltimore's 2nd, right behind the Brewers in WRC+. So you got a good hitting Baltimore team. I think we've seen the worst of Cade Povich. He would probably be somebody. I'd like to see him come out and pitch a decent game here so we can get like a buy signal on him. But the way Baltimore's hitting, Philadelphia had that late game last night. I see a little bit of value here on Baltimore.
So Philadelphia is just a really good team, and they have such a good rotation here. I like to look at how pitchers have fared against the batters they're facing today, but no real sample size to look at here. for these two teams. So the only thing to do is kind of compare everything else. Don't bet against Jesus, but today you might bet against Jesus because he's only ranked 16 out of 30 on a curve of 30. I don't have Cade Povich ranked because he doesn't have enough innings logged in the last 30 days. Neither bullpen's performing well. I have them both ranked 21, 22-ish out of 30. But Baltimore's been cranking the ball a little better than Philadelphia has. I thought Luzardo would be really good coming over from a bad team to a good team. He started out pretty good, kind of tailed off a little bit. But I would agree with Bryan. If I were to play this, maybe the Orioles would be a decent chance here, even though they're not playing for anything and Philly's playing for everything. But man, Baltimore sure is hitting better than Philadelphia right now. So might want to take a flyer on them. I might not, though.
Yeah, I like how the Orioles have played the last week or two. You know, you talk about not playing for anything, and you're probably right. I think they're 8.5 games out of a wild card spot. Crazier things have happened, but they would take a pretty big surge to get them back in the mix. That being said, they've played arguably their best ball of the season the last sort of week or two. You know, something I talked about last week, and it totally burned me, was Orioles against left-handed pitching. I went against them twice in a doubleheader where they were opposing left-handed starters, and they played great. And they've actually done well a couple of times now. So they're sort of putting that to bed. You know, if you look at their full season numbers on the road and against left-handed pitching, hasn't been great, but recently they've been better. And it's just, you know, maybe it's getting healthier. Maybe it's, you know, sort of switching the roster up a little bit. They called up a guy named Jeremiah Jackson that's been awesome at AAA in the minors, AA and AAA this year. He got the call. He was in the lineup yesterday. So I like the way the Orioles have played. And I'll talk about Povich for a minute because he's actually, you know, he's been hurt, but he's had quite an extended rehab. So he's been, they've really given him like the full sort of, I think it has something to do with not really having a spot for him / not wanting to run up his innings, because going back to Tokyo Brandon's point, they are a little bit, you know, out of it, sort of on the fringes right now. So he's been rehabbing for a month in the minors. 1 start, an A ball for Aberdeen, 3 starts for Norfolk. His numbers in July in his rehab stints in the minors are 3.38 ERA, but more importantly, a 207 batting average against and a 0.94 whip. Those are very good numbers for a starting pitcher. The Phillies, I've said this a million times, great hitting team, great team all around, but where you can maybe expose them a tiny bit is against a left-handed pitcher and maybe one that throws some junk, that keeps the ball off speed. That's really what Povich does. That's where he's going to make his money in this league, if he does, which I think we're in agreement that he's probably going to be in the league for a while. He's not like, he should be a starter in Major League Baseball for a few years. Like, that is his kind of upside. He was very highly rated if you go back to last year. He's going to keep hitters off balance. He's a southpaw. He's going to get lefties out, and he's going to kind of throw that, you know, that off-speed stuff in there. And we've seen left-handed pitchers make careers out of this, 10, 15 years of doing that in this league. So I'm higher on Povich than the market. I'm starting to come around on the Orioles. The only thing that even keeps me off of this a little bit is the fact that they're going against a lefty, because they have struggled against lefties this year a little bit. But I'd rather take I think I'm willing to take my chances that they can drum up some offense. I like the +1.5. So I'm going to put this in the parlay. Orioles +1.5. Bryan, Leonard, what do we have there for a price?
You surprised me there, getting in early here with the parlay. Let's take a look. The spread for Baltimore. Okay, we're looking at +1.5, -120, basically across the board.
That's great. I'll take that. You got the, you know, you do have the you do have a team coming off Sunday Night Baseball, which is not a huge deal, but I'm less concerned with the fact that they played Sunday Night Baseball and more concerned with like the way that game played out. It was just a tight game, and then it went down to the wire, and they sort of get the big win, use Duran for the save. Now they have to turn around and play again. I think that's, you know, that's just not the easiest setup, regardless of what night of the week it is. So again, a lot of reasons to like the Orioles here. You're getting the run with the road team. I think that's really good. That may even be a client play for me, but for now, it will go in the parlay. So great Great question right there. It led to a good discussion. That might even be a client play for me. So we will see. Jose Perez, good morning. We appreciate you guys tuning in. It's Monday morning. You're with us. So we really appreciate that. Like, subscribe, jump in the comments, and let's have a great week this week. Ethan Bainbridge, he's always here. We appreciate him. He wants to back the Giants in this spot, but doesn't want to back Verlander. I think that's the handicap, Brian Leonard. That's exactly how I looked at the game. I think it's a good spot for the Giants, but I don't necessarily want to back Verlander. Tell you what, I don't really want to back Jovan Ovidio either. Didn't know he was still in the league. So what do you see in there, Giants, Pirates?
Yeah, we're looking at Verlander, Oviedo. Verlander's money's coming in a little bit on the dog in this one. We're looking at San Francisco about a 122, maybe 8.5 to the over. Verlander, it was the last time out that he pitched better. Hold on just a second here. Let me look at the game logs. Last two starts for Verlander had been better. He played the Pirates last time out. And normally, if you play a team back-to-back, I am looking to go opposite of whatever happened the first time. First time out was the 29th of June, last time. 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 7-1 strikeout minus walk ratio. Before that, he played the Braves. He did go 5 shutout innings. Only gave up 1 hit, but he did walk 5 and only struck out 3. He had 2 starts in a row in which he, the one before that against Toronto, which he walked more than he actually struck out. Verlander on the season, he got his first win last time out. 4.53 ERA, 4.80 expected, 1.49 whip. His whip is really what's gotten to him the last couple of years, 1.38 and 1.49. Despite having a 1.13 whip in his career of 20 seasons. He had a tremendous career, future Hall of Famer. But he doesn't really have any red on his StatCast page. It's all either middling or blue. His ground ball rate in the 14th percentile means he gives up a lot of fly balls. He's got 5 pitches he throws, 4-seamer mostly. He's still got decent 4-seamer, but it's below league average at 94.1. He throws it 47% of the time. That's the thing. He's got to get away from throwing that and be more of a pitcher and less of a thrower. And he's done that a little bit, but still, his numbers are not that impressive. Oviedo, he hasn't pitched in 2 years. He was a mainstay in 2023 through 32 starts. And this year, he hasn't done anything the last 2 years. He hasn't been in the majors. His extension is great. He's 6'6", 93rd percentile. Fastball velocity, 80th percentile. So his fastball is 95.8% or 95.8 miles per hour, which is about 1.5 better than league average. But that's his two pitches he works on for mostly the slider and the 4-seamer. He also throws a curve, sinker, and change. I think he's got a chance to have a pretty successful day here against San Francisco, a team that is still struggling to find their offense. Now, granted, their home games are in really good pitcher's park. This is also a pitcher's park, so I'm not sure they're going to find it in Pittsburgh here. But we're looking at Pittsburgh as the home dog. Pittsburgh's playing some pretty good baseball. I believe they're 7-3. Their last 10 out. San Francisco still not playing well. I kind of look at Pittsburgh as in this game a little bit. I guess I would trust a guy his first day back in 3 years. Obviously, he can do a lot of things differently than what he has done 3 years ago. So he may surprise what San Francisco expects out of him here. We'll see how that goes. Slightly in Pittsburgh, but I agree. San Francisco, I think, is the better team. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're the better team. But till Verlander puts it all together, I'm not going to be betting into him.
Everyone, do us a huge favor and go to our pages and see what we have to offer. I have a 5% play today in MLB. You can grab that at my page. Brian will put something out. Adam will put something out if they haven't already. And we almost always put free plays up as well. Take the 10 seconds and go to our pages and see what we have up today. Regarding this one, the Pirates this is another one where you got to cover the logo and just go with the data here. The Pirates, they're not a very good team, but they're 31-25 at home. And ranking wise, I have them hitting better than the Giants, and I have their bullpen better than the Giants, a lot better. I have them ranked 8 in hitting right now, and I have the Giants ranked 20. Bullpen, I have the Giants ranked 19, while I have the Pirates ranked 10. So Pirates have every advantage here that I can see. It's hard to, looking at a Pirate logo, it's hard to put money on it. But if you cover the logo and just look at the numbers, Pirates are playing a lot better than the Giants are right now. And Verlander is 1-8. So yeah, he did get his last win. I think it was his last start where he finally picked up a win. So maybe he's turning things around. He's a grizzled vet, and his wife is hot. But besides that, he doesn't have much going for him. I would say the Pirates have a really good shot of winning this one. I haven't bet it, but man, numbers wise, the Pirates look a lot better to me.
So here's the tough part about this one is tough to say much about the Pirates bullpen because they did trade some of those guys away last week. So, I don't know if
So did the other team they're playing today.
Yeah, they did. Yep, they did. I guess so. Here's what I'll be looking for from the Pirates, because I actually don't hate what they did. I know some Pirates fans felt like they should have gotten like a haul for David Bednar, but remember, David Bednar was sent back down to AAA a few months ago. So we need to slow our roll and think we should get a Mason Miller return for David Bednar. That's what I saw the Pirates fans sort of complaining about. I actually thought the Pirates quietly had a very productive trade deadline. Problem is they put these guys at AAA, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why is Cam Devaney at AAA? Why, maybe the guy that they got back from the Yankees, the catcher, I could see him being at AAA for a little while, but you would think these are guys that I think would help them at the big league level right now. So what I'll be looking for with this game, since it's Monday tends to be the day where the AAA doesn't play at all. So the minors are not, it's like a league-wide off day for minor league baseball. And you see a lot of the roster moves happen on Monday. It's almost become universal. Guys are the front offices come in and then they'll make 3-4 roster moves on a Monday morning. So that's what I'll be looking for with the Pirates, just to see if are we going to bring Devaney up? They've got Nick Solak down there that I think could help them at the big league level. And then the catcher, I think, was it Flores from the Yankees organization? I could see him down at AAA for a little while longer. So, but any of those moves would make me like the Pirates more. Now, Ovidio, the interesting thing with him, he's another guy that's had a long rehab. Tommy John surgery in 2024, or I think 24, maybe didn't pitch at all. 23 into 24. So he missed over a year with Tommy John, and he's been working his way back from it this year. In July, so 2 starts at A-ball, 2 at AA, and then he had 1 start at AAA last week. 183 batting average against, 0.90 whip, and a 2.16 ERA. So he's looked very good. And this isn't 1 or 2 starts. This is over a month because they had him in the complex in June. So he's thrown at the complex in June, and then he threw 5 live games in July, and he's looked very good. So I may have to admit being a little bit wrong on the Giants. They seem to be going in the wrong direction. I know they kind of got a win yesterday, but it's a tough one. I don't know if I can get to the window with this one, but I see why you guys like the Pirates a little bit. I guess I'm just going to really stay neutral there and not give much out. After the move, though, maybe a little value toward the Pirates. I'm seeing plus 115, plus 120. Is that right, Brian? Is that moved that far at this point?
Yeah, we're looking right now. Bet Online's got plus 104. That's the low. Well, actually, BetMGM's down to even money. Still money coming in on Pittsburgh. I mean, it's the best number out there is 114, but anywhere from 100 to 114 on the dog.
So I think there was a little fake that just happened right there, because this was right when we got on the show, San Francisco got hit. I saw plus 115s out for the Pirates after they were a slight favorite this morning. So I wonder if this started to then get bet back down toward even. That's interesting movement right there.
A lot of times you'll get 2 different syndicates trying to battle it out a little bit early in the morning too. So
for sure. It was good discussion. That's a very interesting game. One I'll certainly have my eye on. City by the Bay wants to know. I know he's a Giants fan, so we just talked about his team, but he wants to know: have you changed your opinion on the Astros? I'm going to let Bryan Leonard go first and talk about if he wants to chime in on that, he can. But let's talk Astros Marlins because we had some developments over the weekend with these two teams. The Astros go to Fenway Park and get swept, and the Marlins, which you heard about right here about 3 months ago, that this team might be pretty good, are now one of the hottest teams in the league, and they sweep the New York Yankees. So, Bryan Leonard, what's your opinion on the Astros, and do you have a play in this game?
Yeah, I think he's mostly looking for yours because you were the one that has been fading him. But it's been good to fade them lately. They haven't played well. Seinfeld's Jason Alexander on the mound today for Houston against Alcantara. Alcantara's pitched a lot better lately. Miami is basically a 125 favorite. It was lower. In fact, overnight, Houston was a 115 favorite. And as soon as we started the show, I was all set to use Miami here as my part of this parlay, but they took a lot of money now. So now I'm getting a lesser number here on Miami, but we're looking at about a 125 favorite now out of Miami and 8.5. And believe it or not, the Miami Marlins are a 500 ball club. They fought their way all the way back. And this is a team right now that got a lot of confidence. They swept the Yankees, which is something, I know we get a lot of people either love or hate the Yankees. We said a lot this year that the Yankees are getting swept, and you don't usually say that. This is not the same team, and obviously they don't have their best player right now. But 1 minute the Yankees are a team playing good ball, next minute they're not, and here they are in the not again. Jason Alexander, 2 seasons in the majors. Let's just go with that. 26 games, 14 starts, 5.92 ERA, and his expected ERA is about 5.25 overall. 1.67 WHIP. Nothing really strong on his StatCast page. Fastball velocity in the 12th percentile, so he doesn't have much of a fastball. In fact, he knows that, which is why he only throws it 10% of the time. Good for him. It's at 92.4. He's got the sinker, change, sweeper, four seam, and the cutter. Basically, he's a sinker change guy. 40% and 32%. Not somebody I'm usually going out there trying to bet into. And we'll see how long he goes in this game. Sandy Alcantara, take a look at his game logs as of late. Here we go. His last 2 times out. He played the Cardinals, 5 innings, no earned runs, 3 hits. He played the Royals, or excuse me, not the Royals, the Padres, 7 innings of shutout baseball, 4 hits, no walks. So he's starting to turn it around. You could tell a lot by the walks. And because we talked about that before the season started, if you're coming back from major surgery or Tommy John's, that kind of thing, the control is the last thing you get. In fact, if you look at what he had done originally, 4 walks, 0, 4, 2, 2, 5, that was his beginnings. Now he's for walks 3, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0. So he's been much better control as of late, and that is really helping him. Sandy Alcantara on the season, 6.36 ERA, obviously poor, but his expected ERA is 5.03, 1.42 WHIP, but that was mostly from earlier in the season. Fastball velocity, he's a very good fastball, 91st percentile. He only throws his four-seamer 22% of the time, so he's got a very good fastball when he needs it. His sinker, change, and a four-seamer and slider, and his curve, he uses all of them from 16 to 24%. I love that. This is a guy I'm looking to play on. I like Miami here. I'm hoping we can get a little bit of a buyback here on Houston, but I still may end up using Miami. That's my leader right now for the parlay. I like him, but I would have preferred the 115 or whatever that was there a little bit earlier.
Guys, do us a huge favor. Go to the replay of this and leave a comment and a like and let Wager Talk know that you like our show. Because maybe they think baseball is inferior to football, but we certainly don't. So let them know you like our show and that baseball rules. So here we go. Astros versus Miami. This is one where just straight up numbers are not going to tell you the exact story, because the straight up numbers, I have the Astros ranked higher than Miami at everything, but just a little bit higher. I actually have Jason Alexander ranked a little bit higher than Sandy Alcantara, which I don't actually think he's a better pitcher. But his prediction numbers, or his predictors, I guess we should say, his expected numbers, that's the word I was looking for, are really good, actually, even though his actual stats are bad. He's got a 7+ ERA and really bad, but Alcantara has a 6+ ERA. Neither one of these pitchers have great numbers, but Jason Alexander does have the better expected numbers. Both bullpens pretty good and pretty equal, and Houston's actually hitting a little bit better than Miami right now. So those are the numbers side. Now the eye test. Miami is just on a roll. Not only did they sweep the Yankees, but they won 2 in a row against the Cardinals right before that. They've won 5 in a row, maybe more than 5 in a row. They're just on a roll right now. Feeling good about themselves. I don't know if they're thinking about making the playoffs or not. But, these guys aren't thinking that deep when they're out there. They're thinking about hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. They're not thinking if they're going to the playoffs or not. They're playing for contracts. They're playing for next year, some of these guys. And, I think I would agree with Bryan. Miami, I think, would have the advantage, even though all of my numbers point the other way. So because of all these contradicting factors, I'm not going to play the game.
So I'll go back to the original question and address that first. Have you changed your opinion on the Astros, Trig? No, I still think they're I still think they finished third in this division, and I'll tell you what. So I think the question is being phrased because they made a lot of the moves at the trade deadline. I tend to not like these teams that go out and sort of like remake their team at the deadline. Like, I much prefer a team that goes out and gets like maybe the 1 or 2 guys that really fit that are like the needs. Whereas like the Astros felt like they just went out and got a new lineup, right? Like, just who was available. Okay, Correa, bring him back. Great. Sanchez for Miami. Great. Like, we've got Jeremy Pena coming back. Suddenly you got a very, it's like a different lineup than they've had the last couple months. And like this, but this is still like a team that I look at and say they've really overachieved to this point. And I just don't think they're better than some of the other top options in the American League. So no, I don't. My opinion hasn't changed on them. Now, I played them yesterday, which I'm upset with myself for doing so. I really just want to go against Giolito in that spot. But no, my opinion has not changed about the Astros at all. They are still long-term a fade for me. Now, Stephen Fallon says, who would have thought the Marlins a 500 team? Well, me, because I've been talking about them for 3 months, that they're like way better than their record. And to go back to Tokyo Brandon's point, they don't know any better. These are kids. Like, they don't know what like playoffs. These are young kids for the most part that are either in their first or second year. It's like their first taste of big league baseball. So in my opinion, they're very, very dangerous in terms of like there's zero expectations with them. No one's expecting anything from them. And, you got guys like Kyle Stowers. I'm just going off the top of my head. Like, Paulie's been Graham Pauley was recently called up. Edwards was called up toward the end of last year, right? These are guys in like their first or maybe second big league season in a lot of cases. Agustin Ramirez, first full season at the big league level. They just don't know any better. They're out just playing ball. They're having fun. They clearly are having like a good time. If you watch Marlins games, like there seems to be a great vibe in that clubhouse. I think it goes a lot from like what they're doing at the lower levels in their organization. And Bryan Leonard brought this up in April. They really like overhauled their organizational, like a lot of the coaching staff, and they're developing pitchers. And what it seems like they've done is develop a bunch of guys that can go out and throw 3 innings. Like, they don't have a great rotation, and Alcantara hasn't been great this year either. But from AAA, from the majors to AAA, they have a bunch of guys that can go out and throw 2 or 3 innings. It's why that over the last 45 to 60 days, they've had one of the top 5 bullpens in baseball. And so this is a team that I have zero interest in betting against. I could only bet the Marlins here. And that'll likely be the case for me until they go the other way, as we have seen young teams do. At some point, they're going to go the other way, probably lose a few in a row, and maybe play themselves out of this race. But for right now, you just got to ride the wave. Marlins are past for me here. Okay, Tom Roper, new member. Appreciate that. Kelly in Vegas told me we got to get those subscriptions. We have it's great that the same people are watching the show every time, but we need those subscriptions. So if you're not subscribed, do me a favor. So Kelly's not breathing down my neck, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because apparently we need those subscriptions to keep this thing going. And we appreciate Tom. I believe it's free. You just have to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Very much appreciated, or wherever you're watching. I think there's like a new platform. I don't know. I'm not up on like the technology stuff. I just come in here and talk about baseball for an hour and then go watch baseball the rest of the day and then come back and do it again the next day. So Jose Perez is what platform is that? Jose, drop in the chat what you're watching on. I think that's like one of the new ones. I don't know what logo that is, but anyway, we appreciate having Jose here every day. He wants to point out, the Red Sox are rolling. That was impressive this weekend. I got burned. I thought I had this great spot with Framber Valdez yesterday, Brian Leonard. I ended up getting a good number on the Astros, and the Red Sox just tore it up as they have been all weekend. Now they come in. They're still home. They're still at Fenway Park. Do the vibes carry on into this series with the Royals? What do you think?
Well, we got Bailey Falter coming over his first start in Kansas City. I do like what Kansas City did with the trade deadline. They're playing some pretty good ball right now. He's a lefty going against Bryan Bayo. Bayo at home is about a 155 favorite, just about everywhere up to 160, but 155 for the most part. A total of 9 to the over or 9.5 to the under. So we're getting, I for the most part, I like pitchers who are taken from a team that is not going to the playoffs to a team that is at least in the playoff race, and that's Kansas City now. They're a 500 ball club. And I think it tells the pitcher that you are wanted and you can get out of a situation where your team was not playing well. Now, that's the good thing about Bailey Falter. His extension is 96 percentile, which is excellent, but everything else is in the blue, which is bad. Chase rate, 5th percentile, whiff rate, 4th, strikeout rate, 5th. Throws 5 pitches, is four-seamer the most. In fact, he throws it 45% of the time, and it's not very good. 92.2. So that's a concern. I'm hopefully coming over to Kansas City, they will make some changes in that, and he'll throw his four-seamer a little bit less, and that would help him out here. But he's got some lousy numbers. Overall, his ERA is 3.73, but his expected is 4.55, 1.18 whip. That's a pretty good whip for him this season. So he's doing some things right. Hopefully, Kansas City can get the best out of it. Bryan Bayo comes in 3.19 ERA, 4.46 expected. Pretty lucky so far this year. 1.28 whip, ground ball rate, 85th percentile, and he's only 6'1", so that's really good for him. Average exit velocity, 73rd percentile. Hard hit rate, 75th. He's not going to blow you away with the strikeouts, 19th percentile. Whiff rate, 14th. Does throw 6 pitches if you count the slider, which is only 1%. So basically 5 pitches from 10 to 36%. His four-seamers league average. He throws at 17%. I like that. Most of these Boston pitchers are getting away from throwing the fastball, and I think that's why they've had so much success in that regard. So the line on this, as I mentioned, about 155 for Boston here. I like the way Kansas City's playing. I would prefer Kansas City, but I don't want to bet on Falter on the road here until I see that he's changing up what he throws. If I see this game and he gets away from throwing the fastball a little bit more, it'll give us some value on the future for him. But as of right now, I'll probably be passing on this.
So I've never been a Bryan Bayo fan, but this year he's playing pretty well. He's odd because his away stats are a little bit better than his home stats, but I'd like to back him here. But when I dig a little deeper, I mean, I've got him ranked higher than Falter. by quite a bit, actually. I've got Brian Bayo like a top 1/3. Hang on a second. I've got Bayo like a top 1/3 pitcher in the league, where I've got Falter a bottom 1/3 pitcher in the league. I like Boston's bullpen a little bit better, just a little bit. Neither bullpen is very good right now, but both lineups are hitting quite well. And neither pitcher really walks too many guys. They're both in the acceptable range. I don't know. I like Boston's team total over perhaps here. I like to look at home and away stats here, but Falter's a guy who just got traded, so even his home stadium is technically away because he never pitched this there. So, yeah, I would lean towards Boston, either that or Boston's team total. But when I dig deeper, Bayo's stats against these batters not very good. Yeah, everything's kind of gridlocked and contradicting, so I'll probably stay off this game.
Yeah, I can't imagine I end up with a play here. I think someone asked about the total in the chat. I kind of made it right on that number of 9.5. So I don't really see much value there either way. I think but I guess human nature for me would be to want to fade the Red Sox because I played against them yesterday and I had my reasons to do so. But a lot of that was based on the fact that the Red Sox had some bullpen usage going into yesterday, and also Lucas Giolito, and neither of those things are affecting this game because they were able to win yesterday without burning their top bullpen arms. Obviously, it's a different starter, so I can't really go that route either. I do think this could be a competitive game, so again, that would lead me to think, okay, underdog, maybe take some plus money, maybe look at the plus 1.5, but I really do think it's priced correctly. So this is just one that I don't have a ton to offer, but we got to go to the chat. Jabroni says, important question, cats or dogs? I know Adam is a cat guy. Completely wrong. I have 2 dogs. My fiance is on the board of a dog rescue place here in Central New York. So we've got 2 we've got 2 pitties, like pit bulls. And if it was up to her, we'd have 10. But I told her we can't. 2, we just got this guy back in November. So there is you can see him right there. He's on my couch where he's not supposed to be. But dog person. And that is very much Mallory's doing. Like I said, if it was up to her, we'd take them all home. So anyway, I wanted to answer that question. Not much to offer the Royals Red Sox handicap, but wanted to let you know that. Slick Vic, my guy, if you can still get plus 470 on the Yankees to miss the playoffs after this weekend, you got to take that right now. Can we get the chat going here? Can you guys look like, what is that right now? Because it did get as high as plus 600 last week, which I could not believe. I think I got 5-1. Someone on the show, guys in the chat, were saying they got plus 550 when we talked about Yankees to miss the playoffs last week. If you can still get plus 470 on that and you haven't bet it yet, take that right now. Take that right now. They just got swept by the Marlins. There should be a much bigger price correction there, in my opinion, after getting slapped around all weekend by a 500 team from the National League. Now, the Yankees have a chance to redeem themselves, but Brian Leonard, I'm not quite sure that they're going to. Mark Hinson wants to know Yankees Rangers. How are you seeing that? And do you think that plus 470 is still a crazy price on that bet?
Well, they're right now, they've fallen to 3rd in the division, and Seattle is coming up there on Houston. They're only got 0.05 win percentage better than Seattle right now. So yes, I am a little bit concerned for the Yankees making the playoffs. And but I like the moves they made over the All-Star break, so I'm going to sit it out right now. We're talking the Yankees in Texas, a couple of lefties, Fried and Corbin. Fried, the road favorite, basically a 140 favorite. Looks like 7.5, slightly to the over. This is a really good pitcher's park this season. It helps that Texas has got some of the best starting pitching in Major League Baseball. Yankees, Max Fried, he's had some blister problems lately, but he seems to be able to make a start today. 2.62 ERA on the season, 3.38 expected, 1.03 whip. Very good numbers as you would expect. He's not getting much of a chase rate, 33rd percentile. Extension's nothing great considering him being 6'4", but his walk rate's been very good, 5.9% this year. Last year was an off year for him from the walks, but as of right now, he's got a 17.2 strikeout minus walk ratio, which is not great, but it's up there where we look for it. Like Max Fried, throws a lot of pitches. He got 7 different pitches he throws, and he throws a lot of off-speed pitches, which I really like. So he's a guy I like going up against this Texas team who's had some problems offensively this year. Obviously, as I mentioned, they play in more of a pitcher's park this season than in past seasons, and that has an effect on them. But Patrick Corbin, 3.78 ERA, 4.17 whip, ERA expected, 1.27 whip. Fastball velocity is only in the 12th percentile, and he only throws his four-seamer 3% of the time. That's why he's having a lot more success here. He knows he's getting older, and he doesn't blow people away with that. He's smart enough to keep it away. Slider, sinker, cutter basically is what you get out of him, and I think he can have some success doing so. When I take a look at the line here, as I mentioned, the way the Yankees are playing, I don't know if I want him here in this price range. I would prefer Texas. Obviously, Fried's a better pitcher than Corbin. You got to give him that. The bullpen for the Yankees eventually, once everybody finds their spot, will work out very well, and I think they'll be better come playoff time if they get there. But right now, slight lean with the home dog, but likely not going to be involved in this one.
So, guys, I have a 5% play up today. I'm sure Adam and Bryan are going to put plays out. I have a free play up too. I'm sure both of my guys here are going to have free plays up. Go visit our page and check out what we got. It takes a couple seconds. Hit the like and subscribe as well. Yankees are just a mediocre team. And if you took the uniforms off of this same roster and put Kansas City Royal uniforms on this team, would you be talking about them this much? Absolutely not. Max Fried is their one really good player, minus Aaron Judge. This team's just mediocre. I mean, they're not good. I mean, they have a bad rotation. Besides Max Fried, are there any pitchers that you would have to have on your team? No. Their bullpen is mediocre. Their hitting is mediocre. They do have the best pure hitter in all of Major League Baseball, but he's injured right now. I heard he's coming back on Tuesday. Not sure if that's true or not. But this team, put a different uniform on them, and they suck. Sorry. But today, I have the Rangers and the Yankees basically even at almost everything. I mean, I have a line of statistics lined up here, and there's tons of variation, and these teams are less than 1 point apart in everything. That's how close these two teams are. Max Fried is a really good pitcher, and he's got great numbers against these batters that he's facing today in his history. He's a good home pitcher as well. The thing is, I'm sorry, he's a decent road pitcher as well. But the thing is, what does that mean? I mean, even though he's that good, I still have these teams less than 1 point apart, which is crazy. Patrick Corbin's got that stigma of being a terrible pitcher. And coming into the season, everyone except Adam probably thought he was going to have a terrible season. I know I did, but he's a very solid innings eater. He's on a curve of 30. I have him ranked 14, so above average. I got Fried ranked 12, so he's only 2 points lower than Max Fried. That's crazy. So I think the Yankees will win the game, but there's no way I would put minus 150 on them after trashing the Yankees. Now I'm going to say I would take them. So after I trash them, watch them just win the division now. That would be funny. Anyways, I'm not going to play the Yankees, but they'll probably win.
I'm now seeing what happened in regards to the Yankees to make the playoffs pricing. when we talked about them last week, and I said it was a great bet, it was pre all the moves they made at the trade deadline. So the books actually liked the deadline they had. They thought they improved their team because I think the market price jumped to that 550, almost 7-1 range to miss the playoffs after their trade deadline. And what did the Yankees do? They turned around and got slapped by the Marlins all weekend. And so that's why it's starting to trend down. So actually, I see like some people in the comments, like we have one right here said he grabbed 590 yesterday, and someone else said they had 650, on Friday over the weekend. So that's what happened in regards to that. I will double down right here because I think this is the best bet I can give regarding these two teams right now. I would bet that now, even at plus 550, plus 5-1. I think there is a great chance the Yankees miss the playoffs, a lot of which, was talked about by the other two guys here. And as far as this game's concerned, I think the number's about right. I would have loved to have a scenario where the books mispriced this to the point where I could have got Rangers plus 1.5 at a good number. Not going to get that at this point. So I think the price is about right. But listen, the Rangers were a little bit unlucky this weekend. I thought they played pretty good ball, and they ended up dropping 3 of 4 to the Mariners in what really was like a pretty competitive series. They lose 3-4 on Friday. They lose 5-4 yesterday with a couple of plays that just went against them in the 9th inning. I think Bochy lost a challenge on one play, and then the Mariners maybe won a challenge on a different play, end up losing 5-4. So, that the weekend could have gone very different for them if the ball bounced their way. And yet here they are still in a huge game at home. I think they're like 2 back of the Yankees right now. Corbin's had a very solid season. He's a veteran, keeps his team in the game. And he's just one of those lefties that, I think could potentially keep the Yankees off balance. The one thing I like about the Rangers that I think really is going to start to matter, they have all of these solid depth arms in their bullpen. So they don't need to push a guy like Corbin into the 6th inning if they don't want to, because even though they lack the big-time closer, they didn't go out and get the Johan Duran. They don't have that guy on the roster. They've got a lot of guys that can come in the 5th and the 6th and throw an inning or two, shut it down. And I think the Rangers are going to be in a lot of games because of that. So slight lean to the Rangers here for me. Probably won't bet it, but again, I'll keep saying it. I think Rangers and the Mariners are finishing 1-2 in the West. I think the Astros will be 3rd. So I'm still high on them, and I would still look to play them here if anything. All right, we're rolling along. I've already locked. I kicked the show off, locked the parlay leg in the first game. We still have 2 more to lock in. Do either of you guys want to throw out a game that we haven't talked about yet? Or do like Bryan, are you sitting there like, do I do it with the Marlins? Where's your head at right there?
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being here with the Marlins. You're getting it at about 125. We'll go 125 here. Fading Houston. I'll play that. Miami, minus 125. And one of the reasons I still like it, there's a lot of people in the chat saying we're fools for playing Miami as the favorite. So usually when everybody disagrees with me, that's a pretty good bet. So I'll play Miami here, minus the 125. And yes, I am the fool that is playing Miami.
I very much agree with you. And we'll let TB close the show with his. We still have 10 minutes left. So I want to go to this game first because there's like 3 people that have asked about this. Colin Gregory says Guardians, Mets. Who better to talk about the Guardians than Bryan Leonard? The Guardians they're hanging around. They're only a few games back of that last wild card spot. How are you feeling about them going into this series?
Before I get to the breakdown of the game, yes, I have not put my plays up. I usually don't put them up ahead of time, but there is a game I love. It's either going to be a 4 or a 5. Still working on that in my head. But in the next hour, I will have a really strong play in Major League Baseball. Yes, Ciccone against Manaea, Cleveland at the Mets. We're looking at right now about a 180 favorite for the Mets, 8.5 to the under, 8 to the over between these two clubs. Cleveland, Ciccone's he seems to look better when I see him. When I watch the games, and I watch just about every Cleveland game. He looks better on TV than his results are showing. He does have that 3.77 ERA, but his expected ERA is 4.99. Not much of a strikeout pitcher, 122 whip. The best thing he does is his walk rate, which is it's 7%, which is only 1.4% worse or better than league average. Barrel rate, 8th percentile, hard hit rate, 8th, average exit velocity, 8th, chase 10th. The Mets, if the Mets play to their talent, they can get to him, and I think they may do so. We're looking at Manaea going for the Mets, 2.08 ERA, 2.88 expected, 0.87 whip. He's been very good since he's come back from injury. It has not taken him a lot of time to get his control. In fact, his control has been better than it's been the last 2 years. Extension 86th percentile, and he's 6'5". So that ball gets on in a hurry. His fastball velocity, unfortunately, only in the 13th percentile. Not a big fastball out of him, 91.6, and he does throw it 66% of the time. That is my concern. So we've got two teams here going against each other, and I think may have some offensive success in this one. And as I mentioned, the total is anywhere from 8 to 8.5. Kind of like the over a little bit here, I think both teams will find success, and Cleveland has faced, as I mentioned just the other day, they faced some really bad pitching staffs. We'll see if that continues here. The Mets are not a bad pitching staff. That may put slow it down a little bit, but yeah, let's take a look at that and just an opinion on the over.
Guys, go to the replay and leave a comment and a like and let Wager Talk know that you like what we're doing. It helps us out a lot, more than you know, actually, because Wager Talk reads all your comments. And if they're really good, then we get lots of praise. So help us out. I got a 5%. These two guys are going to put stuff out too. So go to our pages and check out what we've got. When you sports bet for a long, long time, you get these albatrosses that you stay away from that always get you. And Slade Ciccone is that one of them for me. I fade him. He pitches 7-inning shutout ball, and I back him, and he gives up 7 runs in 2 innings. So I always stay away from Slade Ciccone. Ever since he was a Diamondback, I stay away from him, far, far, far away. But I'll give you my thoughts on the game, even though I'm not going to bet it. The Guardians are cranking the ball right now. They rank 7 in all of MLB in run production, where the Mets rank 18. So check for Cleveland in that category. Bullpen, their bullpen was trash before the All-Star break, but man, have they turned it around. I got them top 3, but I got the Mets top 10. So that's current form, though. It doesn't mean that's what they are. It means that's how they've been performing since the All-Star break. But man, Sean Manaea, he's got great numbers against this team in his career, and there's no way I would be able to fade him here. Where it is, yeah, a 250 average against and a 663 OPS against in his career against these guys. He's got great numbers recently, and also he's got good numbers. Let's see, is this a home game for them? He's home, yes. Right? Yeah, and he's a great home pitcher as well. So I don't want to back the Mets because their hitting and bullpen are subpar compared to Cleveland, but starting pitcher, I give them the advantage, so I'm gridlocked here. So I'm not going to take it, and I can't stand betting Slade Ciccone games, so won't be doing it.
I mean, the Mets have the best bullpen in baseball, if you ask me, or at least like one. They're like top 3. I mean, they went out like they kind of quietly. I feel like they were the team that kind of quietly made the best moves over the deadline. So, like, I'm not saying that they had the most impactful trade deadline in comparison to some of these other teams, but you know, obviously the Padres, I mean, they made a lot of noise. They mortgaged the future essentially to get a lot of these guys. The Mets just kind of quietly went out, got another, 2 or 3 higher leverage relievers that are all very solid, that I think, bolster the bullpen. They went out and got another outfielder. It wasn't like anything crazy, but I truly believe, listen, the Dodgers are deserving of being the favorite in the National League. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. If I had to put one team, if you said, Trig, you could put one team up against the Dodgers, you can pick one National League team to sort of like rival the Dodgers as like who should be the co-favorite or who should be the number two. For me, it's the Mets, and it's not even like a question. Like I think that this team, from the collection of pitchers they have is as strong as any, and their starters are not such that like, I don't think management or the managers and what stuff, the ones making the decision on the bench and sort of putting the game plan together, feel like they have to push any of these starters super deep into games. It's going to let them really, really use the full complement of pitchers in that bullpen, which is as deep as any other team in the league right now, especially when you're looking at leverage arms after what they grabbed at the deadline. And then you talk about, like, I don't even think we've seen the full impact of Juan Soto yet. I mean, I just think that, like, if you look at what he's done throughout his career and what he did last year as the season went on for the Yankees, I think hasn't even hit his ceiling to this point. Like, he could be that much better. And then you talk about guys like Lindor and Pete Alonso, who we know have been able to, like, perform at the highest level. I still think there's so much room for the Mets to, as insane as that sounds, there's actually room for this team to get a lot better. And yet they're still sitting here, basically even with the Phillies and like second or third best record in the National League. So I'm very, very high on the Mets. The Guardians, I don't think the bullpen's good. I don't think this team is good at all. I know that they banged around the Twins a little bit this weekend. I fully expect them to play their way out of the race, and I'll be looking for spots to just ride the Mets this whole series, starting here. So strong lean to the Mets for me here. I really think they're just a very, very good a good ball club. Okay. 9:57. Tokyo Brandon, do you know what you're going to close this parlay out with?
I do, and unfortunately, it's going to be a little anticlimactic, but I'm going to take the Tigers on the money line today against Minnesota. I'm surprised the line's even out. I'm seeing minus 165. Not sure what Bryan has. Is it around 165?
Anywhere from 160 to 175. Minnesota hasn't released their pitcher yet.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Which is why I say it's a little anticlimactic, but out of all starters versus batters stats today, Casey Mize has the best stats of any starter against the team he's facing today. He's got a 182 average against and a 500 OPS against. As I've said previously, I look at 750 OPS as kind of the over under, whether you dominate them or not, and he's 150 points under. Great stats. He's a good home pitcher. And Minnesota, here's an interesting stat. At the trade deadline, Minnesota traded 40% of their roster away. So, man, do they have some holes right now? And do they have a lack of momentum? I was actually surprised they took game 3 against the Guardians, but they did. So Minnesota doesn't have a starter listed here. Casey Mize has great stats against these guys, but maybe it'll be an opener for Minnesota. And if it is, that's great because their bullpen ranks 26 out of 30, according to my numbers. So if it's an opener, great. That'll give the number 6 lineup in all of Major League Baseball plenty of chance to tee off on a horrible bullpen. Minnesota's hitting 25th out of 30 right now. So they're the only team that I have ranked 25 or lower in bullpen and batting. So yeah, I think the Tigers are going to handle business. Great home team, and they just got clobbered, so they're going to be a little bit angry. Give me the Tigers here for my parlay leg.
I don't know, about 165.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
Bryan, what do you think about that game? We have a minute or two left, so we might as well just finish the breakdown of Twins Tigers here.
Yeah, I watched that entire series for Minnesota. They've got a weak lineup. In the bullpen, the major concern I have for Minnesota right now is they traded away their 3 best arms in the bullpen. That's a major concern. They played pretty well against Cleveland, but like I said, Cleveland is playing a lot of bad pitching staffs, and Minnesota's the same way. So, yeah, I would definitely play Detroit here. I'm not a Casey Mize fan. and the line is not crazy, although I wish Detroit was playing better ball right now.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Mick Abel starting at AAA yesterday. I would have fully expected him to just join the Twins rotation after, kind of making that move. Maybe he will this coming weekend when they're home, but that was surprising to me that he was put back to AAA, because I just felt like you're trading for him. He's already been to the big leagues. Like it's an odd thing the Twins are doing right now, because even after making those trades, they're only about 6 games out. But it certainly feels like this is a team that really feels like they've waved the white flag on this season.
Yes.
Like it is that I don't think that this team's going to come back from that. Now, there are some interesting pieces at AAA. Give it 3 weeks, and then come September, when some of these guys get up, when Keschel is back, or they bring up the couple of guys from AA that just got to AAA, Gonzalez and Fedco, like some of those guys, they could be an interesting team in September when the value is completely swung in the other direction. But right now, I still feel like they get a little love from the books for being the Twins. And this is like a developmental team right now. Like I think you got to kind of just continue to fade them. And you're talking about a Tigers team that's got to be a little pissed off. They just dropped 2 of 3 from the Phillies in what was a series that they could have won all 3 of those games. I mean, I thought the Tigers played very good ball this weekend and probably deserved better than losing 2 of those 3 games, but they were playing against an elite opponent. Now they get the Twins. I think, again, I'm with you, Brian. I'm not a huge Mize guy, but I also really don't care for anything the Twins are doing right now.
I agree.
So I would have to I'm with Tokyo Brandon, with you. I think it's Tigers or pass. We've hit 10 o'clock. Let's run it back. The parlay today, plus 430. We are plus 7.4 units on the parlay this season. That means for every $1, if you were to play them all equally, every $1 risk has returned $7.40. Listen, we're in August. That's pretty good that we're still ahead on these, and we're trying to stay that way. So today's parlay, plus 430 odds. We have 3 full game sides. So make it nice and easy for you guys. It's Orioles plus 1.5, Marlins money line, Tigers money line, plus 430. We've got Orioles plus 1.5, Marlins on the money line, Tigers on the money line. That's the 3-teamer. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Almost 1,000 of you in here live today, which we really appreciate. If you did join late, remember, we're always on demand over on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Head over there, give us a like, drop us a comment. It does help. And we'll see you guys in the morning. More Total Basis tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. See you then.